3 a.m. Adrian lies awake on a friend's couch, staring at the ceiling. In the corner of the room, one duffel bag sits, holding everything he still owns. Research on resilience has found something unexpected. People who lose everything and rebuild often report higher long-term life satisfaction than before the collapse. Not despite what they lost, because of what it finally forced them to confront. Flash forward, just for a second, Adrian standing in front of a small storefront with his name on the window, keys in hand, calm, grounded. Then cut away before we understand how he got there. What if losing everything isn't the end of your story? What if it's the only way some of us ever find out what was actually ours to begin with? Quietly, Adrian opens his phone, scrolls to an old photo, his office, his house, his old life, then locks the screen, a beat too slow to look away. He didn't know this couch was where he'd finally start building something real. Rewind to Adrian at 29, opening his own custom furniture business. The ribbon-cutting photo, his wife, Elena, beaming beside him. Everything, finally, coming together. Adrian wasn't reckless. He worked relentlessly, expanded fast, took on debt to grow faster, convinced the entire time that bigger always meant safer. The cracks formed slowly, long nights at the shop instead of home, missed dinners. Elena, gentle but tired, asking, "When's the last time we just talked, not about the business?" His office wall is covered, floor to ceiling, with growth charts and expansion plans. Not a single family photo anywhere in the room. A supplier deal falls through. A key contract slips to a competitor. "It's just a rough patch," Adrian tells himself. "I'll fix it." The same sentence repeated for the next year, like a prayer that stops working. "I just need to push harder," he thinks. "That's always worked before." The collapse compounds, month after month. The business misses payroll for the first time ever. Adrian takes out a second loan against the house without telling Elena until it's already done. She finds the documents on her own. The betrayal lands farther than the debt itself. "It's not even the money, Adrian," she says. "It's that I didn't matter enough to be told." The unraveling speeds up after that. The business closes for good. The house heads into foreclosure. Elena moves out, all within the same brutal month. He thought he was building an empire. He didn't realize he was building it on a foundation with no room left for the people standing on it with him. The night before the bank takes the house, Adrian sits alone on the floor of what used to be his office, surrounded by half-packed boxes, completely silent.
He calls his old college friend Marcus, voice barely holding steady. "I don't have anywhere else to go." Weeks into staying on Marcus's couch, directionless, Adrian starts volunteering at a local community kitchen, mostly just to fill the empty hours, to feel useful again, even slightly. There he meets Doris, a quiet woman in her 60s who runs the kitchen, a woman who lost her home and her own business in a flood years earlier and rebuilt from absolutely nothing. One evening, raw and honest for the first time in months, Adrian admits he doesn't know how to start over with nothing left. Doris laughs, gentle, not unkind. He's wrong, she tells him. He's just been counting the wrong things. She lost her house in that flood, but she still had her hands, her knowledge, people who actually loved her, not just the version of her that owned a shop. "Everything that got swept away was never really you, son," she says. "It was just what you'd built. You're still standing right here. That's the part worth rebuilding from." Adrian looks down at his own hands, silent, like he's noticing them for the first time in years. He starts small, picking up odd woodworking jobs for neighbors. No business plan, no expansion goals, just rebuilding the one skill that was always genuinely his. He starts calling Elena too, not to fix the marriage, just to apologize honestly, asking nothing in return, letting trust rebuild on its own terms, in its own time. A small rented workspace space. One client becomes two. Evenings spent actually present instead of buried in growth charts that never seemed to add up to enough. A tempting offer comes in. Take on debt again for a huge opportunity. Old instincts flare up instantly, but Adrian pauses, thinks of Doris, turns it down, choosing slow and solid over fast and fragile. Rebuilding was never about getting his old life back. It was about building a new one that couldn't be swept away by a single bad year, because this time it was actually his. Adrian signs a lease on a small storefront, modest, sustainable, entirely within his means, the exact scene from the very beginning of this story. He visits Doris at the shelter kitchen, brings her a small handmade cutting board as a thank you. She just smiles, like she already knew this day was coming all along. Losing everything didn't break Adrian. It only stripped away everything that was never really him to begin with, and what was left underneath was finally something solid enough to build on. The couch, the empty office floor, Doris in the kitchen, the small storefront with his name on the glass. If you've lost everything, you haven't lost yourself. Look closer at what's actually still standing, your hands, your character, the people who stayed. That's where rebuilding actually begins. In his new shop, sunlight pouring through the window, Adrian sands a piece of wood, slow and steady, completely at peace. You don't rebuild by getting back what you lost. You rebuild by finally building something real. See you in the next one.